India's opposition to Trump bid to take over Bagram Airbase has special significance. Modi government's decision makes it difficult for the US to hold Quad meeting in Delhi by year-end. Author, Nitya Chakrabarti. Just 48 hours within the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's candid statement that Trump has to respect red lines drawn by India at trade talks, Indian officials joining China, Russia, Taliban government of Afghanistan and even Pakistan denouncing President Trump's bid to take over Bagram Airbase in Afghanistan, is a game-changer in the evolving diplomacy of the Narendra Modi government since the beginning of the tariff war launched by the maverick president of the USA. The joint statement issued in Moscow on Tuesday after the 7th meeting of the Moscow Format Consultations on Afghanistan has a definite tone against the Asian security policy of Trump since the US president is desperate to get back the Bagram Air Base, earlier developed by the US Defense Forces during their tenure in Afghanistan. So far, India has never been so specific in criticizing any action of Trump related to the issue of security of Asia-Pacific. The diplomatic observers of the West, including the think tanks of the US, are assessing in depth India's evolving position since the SCO summit in China on 31st August and 1st September and the rigid position shown by the Indian negotiators at the last round of India's trade talks in Washington last month. The timing of the joint statement also has ramifications as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is due to host the four-nation Quad summit this year in India. In the earlier meetings, PM Modi was quite enthusiastic in endorsing the declaration of Quad summits where US played the dominant role in recommending its security strategy Fort Asia-Pacific directed mainly at China. India has been a willing participant of the US geopolitical strategy in Asia-Pacific so far, but now, in the wake of Trump's tariff war against India and Trump praising Pakistani leaders sky high in the recent weeks, PM Modi has been forced to give a fresh look at the Asia-Pacific strategy of the US pursued. Through Quad, Japan and Australia are two other members, but their stakes are not that high as are India's at the moment. The US strategists are also analyzing two other possibilities. First, the statement against Bagram Air Base bid by Trump is the second occasion in the last 6 weeks when India was a signatory along with Russia and China. The first was at the SCO Meet Joint Declaration on 1st September when all the SCO members including India, Russia and China lambasted the unilateral tariff hikes by the US president and resolved to work for a rule-based trade environment. The US officials are worried about the possibility of a troika of Russia, China and India taking shape and emerging on a long-term basis. This will be most disturbing for the American strategy in the Asia-Pacific in 2025 as in the earlier years. Especially beginning 2019, the US found in the Indian PM an active partner in pursuing its Asia-Pacific strategy aimed at combating China. If this India's collaboration cracks, that will be a big defeat for the US security strategy in Asia-Pacific. The US think tanks including the right-wing Heritage Foundation have been warning India not to fall in Chinese trap and avoid working for a proactive troika. Their advice is that the present irritants in India, relations are temporary and PM Modi should take US as India's natural and strategic partner as he did even in February this year at the White House meeting with Trump within a month after the inaugural ceremony on 20th January. From US perspective, the Bagram Air Base's position is very crucial for the Pentagon to strengthen its military position by overseeing the activities of others in the region including China, Russia, India, Pakistan and the West Asian nations. Bagram Air Base is capable of handling military aircraft including Lockheed Martin. The US forces developed it taking into account their security requirements. So Trump is desperate to get it. But the Taliban government is determined to keep the airbase as it is within its sovereign nation's territory. The Americans got a developed Bagram base as it was built by the Soviet forces during their occupation. Later, Americans developed it further but on August 15, 2021 when Taliban took over complete control of Kabul and other regions, the Bagram base went to the control of Taliban's. Situated on the site of the ancient town of Bagram at an elevation of 1,492 meters, 4,895 feet, above sea level, the airbase has two concrete runways. The main one measures 3,602 by 46 meters, 11,819 feet times 151 feet, capable of handling large military aircraft, including the Lockheed Martin C-5 Galaxy. The second runway measures 2,953 by 26 meters, 9,687 feet times 85 feet. The airbase also has at least 3 large hangars, a control tower, numerous support buildings, and various housing areas. There are also more than 13 hectares, 32 acres, of ramp space and 5 aircraft dispersal areas with over 110 revetments. During a state visit to the United Kingdom in September 2025, US President Donald Trump disclosed that the United States was trying to take back possession of the airfield. Sources said discussions about returning the base to US control had been underway for at least 6 months. But the Taliban rejected the idea out of hand. On Truth Social, Trump issued a threat recently that, if Afghanistan doesn't give Bagram Airbase back to those that built it, the United States of America, bad things are going to happen. The Taliban's hit back by saying that it is their sovereign right to keep Bagram Airbase. India has made a breakthrough in establishing relations with Taliban government in Afghanistan in recent days. The Afghanistan Foreign Minister Muttaqi will be in Delhi later this week. This will be the first visit of any senior Afghan minister. That way, this bilateral meeting soon after the Moscow format consultations will be of crucial importance to both India and Afghanistan. India is expected to reiterate the position on Bagram base and offer economic assistance to the Taliban government for infra development. After all these developments, what is the fate of Quad Summit? As things stand now, there has not been any serious discussions on holding the summit. Indian officials are not busy with any preparations. President Putin is expected to visit India on December 5th and 6th this year. The officials are busy with that. President Trump has not mentioned anything about the visit to India to attend Quad Summit. Earlier in February this year, Trump himself mentioned of the possibility of visiting India during Quad Summit. Japan is busy with its nomination of new Prime Minister. Only Australia is waiting for the dates. But with no movement from India and US sides on Quad Summit at the present moment, it is unlikely to be held this year. The question is, with the present swing in the position of his friend Narendra Modi, will Trump be at all interested to hold the summit in India? All these are relevant in the current interesting times for Indian diplomacy.